under the cloudy skies of the Kentucky Speedway for another round of the ABN Champ Car World Series. Rick James and Liv Hayward in the booth to bring you some high-speed, low-downforce action. We've had a recent package update, we've had iRacing updates, and the season rolls on with another stop on this beautiful calendar of ours. It is the ABN Champ Car World Series at Kentucky. Liv, welcome to the Bluegrass State.
Hell yeah, and welcome to the Bluegrass 300. It is a very popular race in the ABN calendar, not least because Carmen Sienna it has this as her home track, so there's always a little bit of pride on the line for her and everyone involved. And we're going to be going for 300 kilometers of action in what is going to be a little bit of fresh conditions for everyone. This might even the playing field a bit with a custom setup to make sure that we have the best racing possible.
So for those that don't know, for those that might not be into the sim racing world, we've had a recent update to the car itself. The dimensions of the car have changed, the looks have changed just a bit, and the tire degradation, if you will, has changed. In short, it is as close to a new car as we can get without getting a new car. Liv, for a lot of our front runners, it's almost like having to relearn your mechanics.
Yeah, everything is just a little bit different. We've been upgraded to the V9.5 tyre model. We have a brand new steering wheel that you can see as you ride on board with current top of the charts in practice Hunter Peach. The Cosworth CCW3 with all new graphics, including live tyre temps in that bottom right corner. That'll help drivers manage and work out exactly whether they are overheating the tyres and maybe a better chance of managing them over the course of the stint.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of how these cars evolve over the night here. We've got just over 60 seconds to play in our practice session. Liv, what are we looking at for the dimensions of tonight's race? What are we looking at for total laps, fuel mileage, and how is that going to play into an ever-changing racetrack?
We are looking at 125 laps, and while it might not be much of a fuel save potentially, I think drivers might be able to stretch it to 42 laps and potentially try and make it a two-stop race. But of course, if we get any cautions with the currently 22 car field up on the docket, then that will throw everything into chaos. We're thinking probably 35 to 40 laps is reasonable on a fuel tank. And so 42 would require a lot of work from these drivers.
Practice coming to a close. We're going to have our 5-minute qualifying session. Everybody gets 4 laps each in these next 5 minutes. So sit tight. We're going to sort out who gets to start first, and we'll start racing from there. Liv, did you happen to catch that IndyCar race at Gateway this weekend?
Oh, I hope that we don't repeat at least one of the incidents in that one. That was quite a wild one.
Not only was it wild, it was fun to watch though. IndyCars at Oval, it's a treat. It gets your heart racing. It's so much excitement about how the cars behave in such a large pack. And then one thing I loved is at the beginning of that race, even before the green flag, just seeing that huge plume of fire come up off the back straight. That was awesome. I don't know if you saw any of the videos of the onboards with the drivers' reactions. That was hilarious.
I mean, I'm convinced that dropped some debris that could have caused some trouble in that opening stint, because that was a lot. And there's been times, I think, in NASCAR races where that has actually delayed the green flag as we go on board with Carmen Sienna, who is going to go for the first lap of action here. And it should be flat off qualifying, we think. There shouldn't be too much hassle to deal with. It's just going to be about being very smooth on that wheel, trying to run as low as you can on entry without washing up on exit. And as Carmen comes to the line to set what will be the first lap of the session, it'll be 212.9 miles an hour, 24.705 seconds And that
Is that all?
currently is good enough for second place.
2:12.97, 2:13. Is that all she can muster?
Well, we'll see. See if she can get anything on lap number 2. But we have trimmed out these cars a fair bit, which means that there's going to actually be a lot of speed bled off in the corners, especially in the pack, as she does improve on lap number 2. But once again, so does Christina Ryan, who still sits at the top of the board with a 24.601, just a few clicks faster than Carmen Sienna as she pulls off to the side. We'll follow back to Christina, who's going for a lap number 3. This will be a single stint attempt for Chrissy. This is unusual in Champ Car. We'll see if it pays off.
Another 3 minutes to play. If you just tuned in, you're tuning into the last 3 minutes of our 5-minute qualifying session. Drivers will get 4 laps each to put in the best time, and we're going to get a 5-minute warm-up after that. So if you haven't gotten your snacks or your drinks, this is the perfect time to grab that. Let us know who you're rooting for. Let us know who you've got your eye on. Liv, tonight, who do you have your eye on?
I mean, Chrissy's not a bad shout. I think she went with identical lap times on laps 2 and 3 there, so is a model of consistency for sure.
Liv, let me tell you here, Ben McDonald, the rookie Ben McDonald, just shot to the top of the chart. I think that's the first time this season I've seen him near the top. I think it was Gateway either last week or a few weeks ago where he did impress in that PNC machine, and now the rookie has raised the bar.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. We're seeing very interesting strategies here from both Emily Howe in the number 83 and Vitor Diem in the number 7. They both really slow rolled for about a lap and a half to, I guess, try and optimize those tire temps as much as possible. Launched on the backstretch here. We'll see what both drivers can do, because currently they are well off the pace, and they've sort of put all their eggs in one basket on these final 2 laps of the session.
90 seconds to go in this qualifying. Ben McDonald sits at the top with a 24.57. And who is this? Matt? This isn't Matt Schlosser. Who's this we're looking at right now? With Emily Howe. There it is. She crosses the line. 2:09.39. Her best lap.
But it's still not fast enough. This needs to be a
No.
warm-up lap to the final lap if she's going to have any chance of getting into the top 10. Bryce Saucedo's fastest with a 24.534. That might even be 214 miles an hour. We'll see what the 83 can do in that Toyota machine. And it's not going to be good enough. It's only 15th place, so that slow roll strategy not working out for her. Vitor Diem also only as high as 20th to start this session. Edson Santos 1 spot ahead, coming to the line to finish his qualifying run. And this is not the strategy they were hoping for. This has not worked out for some of those real heavy hitters. The new car update, maybe the changes to the tyres catching them off guard. And they have a lot of work to do to charge through the field. Santos 18th. Vitor Diem 21st on the grid. Emily Howe starting in 15th. Just 1 spot behind championship leader Nicholas Pressey, who has 1 more attempt to try and find something special. He's not going to make it though. We're going to be out of time here. And that is going to do it for our qualifying session.
Bryce Saucier at the top with a 24.53. Ben McDonald, 24.57. And Chris Ryan finishes 3rd in the qualifying session. So we're going to have a quick warm-up for 5 minutes. We're going to talk to our pole sitter, and we'll get racing before you know it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be talking with Bryce Saucier in just a moment. Back in the booth, and we've got a friend to join us. Our pole sitter tonight, the number 07, Bryce Saucier, with the fastest lap of the qualifying session. Big Bryce, Rick, and Liv in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
All right. So you're going to be starting first. Is that your first pole? Liv, is that his first pole this season?
I am going to pull the stats.
Yes, that's my first pole since season 2.
Oh, wow.
First
I'm usually not a good qualifier.
Okay. All right. So, well, now you've got a lot of work to do because you've qualified first. So now there's nowhere to go from here. The goal is to win the race. But obviously, what's that going to take with this new car?
I feel like I've adapted the car well. I like the way it handles. So the slight changes, I think, reflected when I very, very first got on the service before the update towards the middle of like 22. But car feels good. Certainly got a great team behind me to help me get the big push for the win. Certainly think I got a good shot at it.
Who's going to be your biggest obstacle on the way to the checkered flag?
Christina Ryan's always good on these tracks. Edson Santos is usually very good on these big tracks. I would say those two are probably going to be a couple of the other strong ones tonight.
It makes sense. Liv, what do you think? He's got a shot to win it?
I think so. I'm just wondering what sort of strategy did he go with the qualifying session there? Because we saw some drivers like Santos really go astray, and they have to work their way all the way from the back of the field.
I figured out in practice pretty quickly. It was definitely on lap 2. You needed to wind the car up on the first lap, like a plate track in a NASCAR. So I didn't do a great job of that on my first bit. So off of 4, I kind of abandoned that on my second lap of qualifying, reset, and then used laps 3 and 4 as my qualifying run, which worked out well.
Sounds like a great plan.
All right, Bryce, we're going to let you get back to work, man. Go out there and win us a race.
Alrighty, that's the plan. Hope to talk to you guys later.
All right, we'll see you then.
So Bryce is going to go to work. We've got 60 seconds left in our warm-up session, and we're going to go racing in just a moment. This is, Liv, for me, this is the fun part where the anticipation sets in, and I just want to get that first lap over with because my thought process is, how are all of these drivers going to handle the new car?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, and especially with the new tire model. That first lap could be a bit tricky on the colder tires. They'll have the information to help manage it, but there's going to be, especially drivers like Pressy, who has to work his way forwards if he wants to hold on to this 60-point championship lead. He is going to need to be aggressive early, and that could end up biting. We'll see how they all handle it.
Looking at these points, Liv, 60 points, the difference between Nick Pressy and Christina Ryan going into round 12 of 20. Obviously, the championship is not a foregone conclusion at this point, but the gap from first to second is the same as the gap from third all the way to almost 8th.
Yeah, and Totosoya has 4 wins on the season. But the difference is that Pressy and Ryan have finished in the top 10 on all 11 starts they've made. They both have 1 win, and oftentimes when Totosoya has taken that race win, Pressy's finished second. It's that consistency of those top 2 that has them where they are right now.
All right, we're getting ready to kick this one off here. The cars are lined up on pit road. We're going to get the starting lineup out underway here. We spoke to him. He's starting on the front row in that number 07 Nick Pressy machine. Bryce Saucier will be in that first position with rookie Ben McDonnell on the outside. Good run for the Australian pilot. Christina Ryan starting in row number 2 with Tucker Sawyer, the championship hopeful in that 1-9 machine, followed by Eli Sasick and then Carmen Sienna in that third row. Great run for the hometown pilot on the outside of row number 3. Jesse Francisco, that number 38, he's going to be lining up on the inside of Lily Sharp. Jesse Francisco with that excellent Blue Angels livery. 9th and 10th in row number 5, we're talking about Mo Perry, Colin McDonough. Beautiful Pride livery for Mo, and Colin McDonough, a rookie who continues to impress in that top 10. Mitch Semedo and Hunter Peach going to be starting 11th and 12th. Semedo, another rookie in the Champ Car World Series. Position 13th, lucky number 13 for Evan Eisenman. And then outside, our points leader, Nick Pressey, starting in that 14th position. 15th and 16th in that 8th row. We're talking about Emily Howe and Big Pink George Ward, another rookie. How about Matt Schlosser, Edson Santos? Santos is one of our oval aces. They're starting 17th and 18th, respectively. And 19th and 20th, Jason Duckworth, Bren Roberts. Love to see JD at the racetrack. Bailey Thompson, Vitor Guillermo, starting 21st and 22nd. Josh Stoltz, our DNS, not on the racetrack. He will not start tonight's race. Bryce Saucier, Ben McDonald on the front row. We've got so much exciting racing to take place at Kentucky through 3 through 4. When these cars get up to full song and they start singing around this racetrack, it's something to behold. The ABN Champ Car World Series in the 12th race of 20 in its, what are we now, 7th season, Liv? We're getting ready to go. The green flag is about to fly, and we're about to race under the blue moon of Kentucky. Green flag is out. Let's go racing.
Oh, and a few drivers down, straddling that yellow line on the initial start. Trying to find as much room as possible, taking it very easy. And here's a run to Christina Ryan starting on the second row already, going to the outside here. Is going to try and make the move for the race lead. Look at the run there. And it looks like number 80 is going to manage to take the lead on the first lap. But Saucier is still on the inside, could still be a threat.
One lap clean and green. Chris Ryan now moves to the top side with Bryce Saucier behind her, and then Ben McDonald, the Australian rookie, trying to slot. He leads that outside line, and behind him it looks like it's Tucker Sawyer in the 1-9, followed by Carmen Sienna. There's a crash at the back, smoke in the air, one car along the wall. We've got 2-3 involved, and it's Edson Santos, our oval ace, the Brazilian driver in the number 20, and Bailey Thompson has also caught a piece of the action. Caution is out. 2 laps into our 125 lap event, and Liv, it looks like 2 cars going for the same piece of real estate. Bailey Thompson sails through the air.
Yeah, it's just off the corner, and Thompson comes down off the wall. Is trying to, I didn't avoid George Ward up in the top, and that's the danger of not getting a good qualifying run in. You've got a lot of work to do. Santos, I think, was up 4 just on lap number 1. But just couldn't quite make that one work. We'll have another look at that from the perspective of Bailey Thompson. And let's see exactly how this one happened for the 20 and the 27. Thompson doesn't come down, but Thompson's also not using the whole racetrack there, and I think that was what Santos was expecting from that Ford machine. And unfortunately, that is going to be 2 cars out of the race very early indeed.
Kind of what we expect. Well, not what we expected. It's we didn't want this to happen, but we almost knew that this is a possibility. And I think that you know that's a possibility with every oval IndyCar race that is. But so early, it's almost a bit disappointing, and definitely it takes out Edson Santos, it takes out Bailey Thompson. For the iRacing inclined, Liv, they know what a fast repair is, where despite what happens to you, the car is literally repaired in an instant. We don't have that tonight, do we?
We sure don't. And so that is going to be day done for both of those cars. And it looks like Bren Roberts was taking some repairs, or maybe was taking a quick trip to the bathroom. Same with Hunter Peach, potentially, both now rolling once again.
Do we have telemetry for their bathroom use?
We do not, thank God. One thing we do have, though, is that everyone from 13th on back decided to make a pit stop in that first caution, and what that says to me is that they are looking fuel mileage, because they were all splash and dashes. They are thinking that that extra 4 or 5 laps of fuel could really help out as we get towards the end of this first stint. But Christina Ryan is still your race leader, taking it away from Bryce Saucier and Ben McDonald, who still, of course, round out that podium.
So with those extra few laps of fuel, then drivers can get closer to that 2-stop mark, because eventually that's going to be the goal. If we can go approximately 40 laps per run, and these drivers can save, what, 5-6 laps in this first stint, that's going to make the difference.
Yeah, I think the 2-stop is very much in play, and for all of the drivers who stayed out, unfortunately it doesn't let us see it on the dashboard, but I know they're all using that map 8, that pace car map, to try and save as much as possible under caution, because while they don't want to give up the track position here at the front of the field, I think they're still betting that they can get far enough so that that strategy is not going to bite them at the end of this opening stint.
Half a lap to green, we made it, what, 1.5, 2.5 laps? A lap? 1 1/2 laps before chaos ensued at this Bluegrass 300. Now, a lot of you can't see what's going on here behind the scenes, but Edson Santos puts in this iRacing chat of ours, Kentucky 300 meters, and that's all it lasted for poor Edson. So we'll see if Edson can get some repairs and get back out onto the racetrack. Hopefully he can rejoin us. If not, he's got one of the best seats in the house, and you do too. Green flag will fly to complete 5 laps with 120 circuits to go in Kentucky, and we are racing again at the Kentucky Speedway.
And a little bit of a check-up there on the restart. Everyone manages to absorb it, but we are now fanned out in about 5th place. We saw 3 wide for a moment. And while Edson is not doing so well, Vitor Diem is up 8 positions from where he started. And so he's going to try and fly the Lena Racing flag throughout the rest of this one.
Out of turn number 4, Christina Ryan leading this race, and she's got Ben McDonald behind, who cuts down to that low line. Bryce Saucier in the 07, watching Tucker Sawyer take the position in that 1-9, and drivers now start to get closer together through these corners. Saucier watching Mo Perry, Carmen Sienna, now Eli Sasek, all go round the outside. Jesse Francisco now wants to the inside of Eli Sasek, coming up on Carmen Sienna. That's going to be for that 5th position. Christina Ryan still leading at the front of this race. McDonald in 2nd and Sawyer in 3rd. Liv McDonald goes purple.
And is using that slipstream. And this is the first flying lap we've had, to be fair, so no surprise we get a fastest lap attempt. And it is from the car 2nd in line, who now is going to make a move to the outside, leaves the middle open for Tucker Sawyer, who is trying to make a championship charge here. Again, Sawyer and Ryan both very close in points, and they are currently lined up nose to tail on the inside of turn 1. But Ben McDonald will get back ahead for 2nd place, and I think he wants to take this race lead.
We'll keep our eyes on Nick Pressey as the race goes on as well. Nick right now taking his time. He sits in the 19th position, minding his own business. The championship is well under his control. I've always said this about Nick Pressey because I've been watching him race for years, whether it's in stock cars, Indy cars, I've seen him race in sports cars. It does not matter. Nick is a very, very quick driver. Nick needs to exercise patience when it comes to these marathon runs. Looking at the fight for the lead right now, this is not where Nick Pressey needs to be. He does not need to be chopping it up, risking a DNF. He's doing excellently right now, hanging out at the back, minding his business in 19th, and waiting for some of the chaos to unfold. Liv.
Yeah, meanwhile, Bryce Saucier is down on pit lane. I think that may have been a disconnect.
What?
For your pole sitter. He's getting back out onto the racetrack now, but he is 3 laps down. Lucky dogs are in effect in this series, and so he's not out of this one. But he's definitely on the back foot as Tucker Sawyer goes to the inside and might just take this race lead.
When's the last time we saw Tucker Sawyer win an oval race? Was it Texas that Tucker Sawyer won, or was it Edson Santos? I think we were... Go ahead, tell me.
Well, I think Tucker was running high at Texas, but was really struggled to complete the job. I'm just pulling the stats up here now.
Who did win the Texas race? Was it Edson?
Texas was won by Christina Ryan in the number 80.
she just went for the lead right there in turn number 3. So has Tucker won on an oval this season? Because I think earlier in the season, earlier in the season we gave him stick because he just hasn't. He says he's not good at ovals. Meanwhile, he's sitting here in second position fighting for this lead.
Not this season, not ever in the Champ Car World Series. Best finish
not ever
was 4th place in this year's Arrowhead 500. So lives for the big occasions. Is currently sat in second place, and at what is the series' home track, really, this would be a great one to try and take down.
Yeah, genuinely, I'm interested. We've probably jinxed the poor boy now, but I'm genuinely interested to see what he's going to do. That's rookie Ben McDonald, the Australian pilot on the outside. Where did this kid come from, Liv? Because it seems like 2 weeks ago at Gateway, he showed up and started taking the series by storm.
New Zealand. I'm going to say Australia. I think New Zealand is where
oh my God. You know what? Now, that's exactly where it comes from. And I remember I made this mistake last time. I called him Australian and I nearly started a war between the two nations.
Yeah. But I really don't know.
My
really
apologies.
Impressive. And isn't particularly high rated on oval either. Like, it's no slouch, don't get me wrong, but 2.3k is not the sort of drive you'd expect to come into a series and just start dominating with no knowledge of the drivers around. But he's doing a great job and is currently fending off second in the championship right now. As I can't exactly see what's happened. I think we had another disconnect. I think Emily Howe in the 83, who already had a lot of work to do, is also now no longer on the racetrack.
Now, when you say 2.3K, I know what you mean by 2.3K, but for the layman, it sounds like you're describing his I rating.
That is what I'm describing.
Okay. Basically, if you're new to sim racing, your I rating measures, in layman's terms, how experienced you might be in a particular discipline. I'm looking back here at this 12th, 13th, 14th fight here. Vitor Guillermo, Colin McDonough, and George Ward all involved in a mess here, trying not to crash. But Liv, I'll tell you what, it's almost like drivers have spread out and they've calmed down after that initial caution.
I feel like they have a little bit. I mean, we were expecting it to become a little bit more of a patient race. We were expecting drivers trying to feel their way through the new car, and that's definitely where we're at. Nicholas Pressey has now moved up into 16th as well after coming down the pits and restarting at the tail end. I don't know if we've said this yet on the broadcast, but our championship leader, as we look at the battle for the lead, Nicholas Pressey is racing our controller today, is not at his usual rid, and so is very much trying to mitigate damage tonight against Christina Ryan and Tucker Sawyer, who unfortunately are currently 2 of the 3 spots on the podium as Ben McDonald takes the lead there. Can he hold it through turn 1? It looks like he's going to be able to.
We'll see if he can hang on to that lead. The Kiwi rookie now goes top of the tree. Chris Ryan moves to the inside, and she wants to get that lead from McDonald. She's going to try her best. Will she clear him to complete lap 21? It's going to be a drag race to the line to lead the lap, and it is Christina Ryan who takes control of the race again.
Yeah, and it very much seems like it's difficult to lead here. Again, we've trimmed out the setup a little bit, so holding the white line as you might usually is not going to work so well, as Carmen Sienna now charging down, making this a 4-car fight for the lead. And McDonald having to fend off Tucker Sawyer on the inside, and now Carmen might have a shot at Tucker as well, and is going to take the position up into 3rd place.
So Sienna's moving into 3rd at her home Grand Prix, if you will. Tucker Sawyer in 4th, Evan Eisenman in 5th. Don't get used to seeing your driver in a particular position because they probably won't stay there. Eisenman to the inside of Mo Perry moves into that top 5. The drivers have settled, and again, we're looking at what, Liv? 40 laps in a run. So now we have, if it goes green, we have the haves and the have-nots of the fuel race.
Yeah, we're about halfway through, but we might not, because that was Eli Sasek, who had a big moment out of 2. Did a fantastic job holding onto it.
Gosh.
And, I mean, we've got to have another look back at this one.
I want to see this boy's hands. That is a Stanley Cup winning glove save out of Eli Sasek. Oh, contact with the wall. How about it? How about it? That's something.
Might be carrying a little bit of damage, but has very much avoided a lot of damage with that save. And now runs in the 8th position after getting the move done again on Lily Sharp. That's Matt Schlosser and George Ward following close behind. You get these sort of 4-car clusters, it seems like, but past that, the dirty air really does start to take effect with how trimmed out these race cars are tonight.
Our championship leader, Nick Pressey, is starting to get into the mix. Car 94 to the left-hand side of Mitch Semedo when he cracks the top 14 with Vitor Guillermo now on his horizon. Hunter Peach in the number 6 battling with Big Pink George Ward and Matt Schlosser down that front straight. Hopefully they stay contact-free. The rest of the top 10 bunches together, except for Eisenman, who is kind of in no man's land between the top 4 and the rest. Jesse Francisco and Mo Perry now battling and sort of creating that gap between the top 6 and the rest of the field. Live 27 laps now underway.
Yeah, and Vitor Guillermo starting to make those moves as well. Started down in 21st, is now up 8-9 positions as he tries to fight past Ward and Peach. I think it might now be go time for the remaining Lena Racing driver as he tries to get into that top 10 and start to chase down that top 5 pack.
So now that the drivers have settled down, let's bet on when that next caution is going to come out. I'll tell you what, do you think it's going to come out before or after green flag pit stops?
I think it'll come out during green flag pit stops. It's a tricky pit entry here. Drivers required to enter in turn number 3. So before you get into the banking in the corner, you have to get down on the backstretch and stay below that yellow line. And so drivers are going to be pushing on the flat, and they've got to use very different tools than what they've been using out on the banked surface. I think there's going to be a little bit of chaos there, and someone could spin back up and cause a caution.
What happens if they don't? Let's say I decided to just come into the pits off of turn 4. What's going to happen?
It'll be a penalty. I'm not sure if it'll be post-race or if it'll be in the session. Maybe it'll be applied to the next one, but it is ruled by league admins on that one. It's not an iRacing rule,
Dishonor
as it is
on
some
you.
tracks, but if you get caught, you will get in trouble. And right now, Carmen Sienna is there to watch at the very front of the field. She currently runs 3rd.
So it's dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, and a possible penalty if you decide to come into the pits.
Yeah.
Off of turn 4.
Yeah, you cannot cross that yellow line after the backstretch, and I believe that will also apply under caution, though I could be mistaken. That will be covered in the driver's briefing, which I was not able to attend.
That's okay. I didn't attend the drivers' meeting either.
Luckily, we're not drivers.
You know, it helps that we're not drivers. I like that very much. How about Carmen Sienna going for the lead? She's trying to make the most off of Christina Ryan. We'll see if Christina Ryan makes her elbows wide and starts leaning on the 96 a bit.
And I'm curious to see when these drivers pit, because we know Sienna's not often a driver to go for a fuel-safe strategy. Christina Ryan's been leading most of the way. She won't have had the draft to try and save too much fuel. So when do these cars pull down onto pit lane? Is it going to be before lap 40? Because I think that would put the nail in the coffin. They would have to go for a 3-stop. And then the question becomes, who behind has been doing a little bit of sneaky fuel work? With 3 wide on the backstretch nearly.
We've got 90 circuits remaining, and we're approximately 5 laps away from green flag pit stops. Christina Ryan, Carmen Sienna, Ben McDonnell, your top 3. You know, Liv, what we should have done is we should have just drawn up betting odds. How many cars will take flight, how many cautions we'll have, how many lead changes, all that crap. Christina Ryan still leads, while 2nd and 3rd now argue over the silver medal slot. I tell you what, we also should have put a betting tab on how many speeding penalties we'll have tonight. Who do you think is going to be the first?
I'm going to be mean. I'm going to say Pressey. Everything is going to drive differently. What have you seen?
Nick? No, not what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Just, you think? No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause alarm. You think Nick Pressey's going to get that first? You know what? That's not a crazy take. I'll agree with you.
Left trigger.
I'm with you.
That's not very easy.
No, it's not very easy at all. And Nick's my buddy, so I'm going to pick on him, as I do all the time. I love you, Nick, genuinely, so I'm going to pick on you even more. There's 2 cards in the wall while I'm trying to pick on Nick Pressey, Carmen Sienna, and Ben McDonald, the Kiwi, throwing up sparks. So let me let me agree with you on that one. I think Pressey might be our first speeding penalty of the night. Hopefully we don't jinx him as well. Heavier contact for that 96 as well. Liv, keep into turn number 1 here. It looks like Sienna kicks up even more sparks, almost enough to not damage the race car, but put its structural integrity into question.
Yeah, there's a very specific spot on the floor of the car that is quite easy to damage, and it tends to hurt your straight line speed after you've done that. We'll have to see how Sienna performs from here on out, but that is a little bit concerning, and especially quite an unforced error on the way into turn 1 as Christina Ryan. She's on the access road, lap 39, and will make the first pit stop of the night. Will it be her that speeds? I do not think it is.
If she gets a speeding penalty, I blame you 100% because I didn't even mention her.
Well, she's very safe. She was running about 48 miles an hour, I think, at the line, and it's a 50 limit, so...
I think she'll be all right. Ben McDonald, your new leader, while Carmen Sienna decides she wants to be best friends with the wall in turn number 3. She's now going to give up another position. Tucker Sawyer goes to the left-hand side. At this point, Carmen, take the speeding penalty because she's losing more time scraping the wall than she would be coming down for a drive-through. Behind her, Hunter Peach in that number 6, up 7 places from where he started. Here comes McDonald. Here comes Eisenman to the lead. Tucker Sawyer in second. Hunter Peach is also in. Carmen Sienna will follow Ben McDonald, and they will come in at what looks like the speed of light, and Carmen Sienna almost plows into the back of McDonald. Meanwhile, at the front, Liv, Evan Eisenman is your new leader.
Yeah. Carmen Sienna is in pit lane, and I think I did see some damage on that car before she pulled in, and that is not something the crew can fix in pit lane. So she is going to be down on her luck for the rest of this one. More cars slowly. Evan Eisenman finally pulls in. Hunter Peach, who remember topped off in that first caution, is now your leader with Tucker Sawyer and Jesse Francisco rounding out the podium. Christina is going to be, I believe, the leader of those pitters. No. It looks like Ben McDonald might have a chance here as he comes out of pit lane, and there goes the number 80. And actually, that is a great undercut from Christina. She has come out about 3-4 seconds up the road from those cars. As now more in. And it is going to be Mo Perry, Vitor Guillaume. But Hunter Peach stays out. They are extending. They are going to make it to a point where this 2-stop is definitely on the cards.
Second through fourth, well, not anymore. Second and third, Lily Sharp and Tucker Sawyer yet to stay out. Tucker Sawyer's on his way in now, so I think we're nearing the end of our first green flag cycle. Lily Sharp in that second position, Eli Sasick rolling in fourth, Mitch Semedo in 8th. All have yet to come into the pits, and at this point they're gambling on a yellow. Liv, we have 80 laps to go.
Yeah, and Hunter Peach still stays out here as you see Semedo peel. That's a very tight entrance to the access road. I didn't quite realize it was that sketchy. We'll see if we can ride with Hunter Peach as he starts to peel towards pit lane. Gotta guess this time by. But it is going to be very difficult indeed, as in fact, he's doing a great job. He's still staying out to lap number 47 now. 42 green flag laps in this stint. He is going for the fuel save, and he might be able to push towards the end as well. He's doing all of the work now.
Hunter Peach still being scored at the top. Colin McDonough in that second position, and Nicholas Pressey rolling in third. JD Jason Duckworth in fourth. Hunter Peach now making his way in. Colin McDonough making his way in. Nicholas Pressey staying out. He pitted on lap number 4. Has he done enough fuel saving in that first stint to where he can guarantee the 2-stop run after this first set? I believe that he can already do so, Liv, because we're sitting on lap 48.
Yeah,
if he can make it if he can make it 45 laps on this run, and he comes in now, so Nick Pressy's absolutely good to the go. And anybody that comes in, so what, Hunter Peach, Jason Duckworth, Colin McDonough, Nick Pressy, they're on the 2-stop.
Yeah, and I love this call from Pressy. Knows that he's maybe not going to be able to outrace people on the track with the equipment issues that he's running with. So instead, he is going to run with a strategy gamble that could end up seeing a huge dividend here. Christina Ryan will cycle to the lead, and she has a 3-second lead over McDonald, Sienna, and Eisenman, who currently lead of these cars that pit. But crucially, they have been out on the racetrack for close to 10 laps at this point. They are in a really bad spot. Hunter Peach currently runs in the 5th position, just off this pack. He has 6 more laps of fuel left in that race car compared to cars like McDonald and Sienna. He is in a prime position right now. And of course, a caution shakes everything up, but for the time being, if I could pick one car to be sat in, it would be the number 6.
Chris Ryan, Ben McDonald, Carmen Sienna, your top 3. Nick Pressy rejoins the race in the 14th position, but in prime position to make the most of his fuel strategy. Christina Ryan leading by 2 seconds. Carmen Sienna, Evan Eisenman separated by 2/10. Colin McDonough, Eli Sasek, Bren Roberts running 11th through 13th now in close proximity to each other. And now after this first run, Liv, I think drivers have genuinely spread out, and we're going to start seeing individual battles.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more breathing room available, and that's great to see because we're really going to see the whole breadth of what this car can do now. Everything is going to be a bit of a learning experience. Evan Eisenman, currently running in the 4th position, is going to try and set up the wounded Carmen Sienna to get onto the podium. Will it be to the inside or the outside? And it looks like the Ascent Racing car was looking outside, but Carmen did not leave it open. And so he's going to try and hold closer to that yellow line through 3 and 4. She's doing a great job defending with a damaged race car here. Eisenman's not able to get the move done just yet, but what this is going to do is it's going to invite Hunter Peach all the way through. Peach led 5 laps at the end of that first fuel run, and those are 5 laps of fuel that he has that the cars ahead have already burned in this second stint of the race.
We're now approaching the final 70 laps of action. Here's something for you, Liv. Bryce Saucier in 19th, 2 or 3 laps down, just went purple.
I mean, why not? I think it is worth a point here. So you're hoping for those cautions, you're hoping to get cycled back through towards the lead lap, but if nothing else, you're here for attrition, and you are here to try and pick off whatever bonus points that you possibly can. A great piece of heads-up driving, similar to what we saw from the number 5 team in Mexico City at the weekend. Carlos Felix down, sent it out, made sure he got the fastest lap, as Evan Eisenman now goes to the inside of Carmen Sienna. Can he get it done, or can Sienna keep defending the outside line? Yes, she can. And now this could invite Hunter Peach around on the outside of the Ascent Racing car. Sit on 66. Is this going to be a tail from hell? No, Eisenman is going to have the charge from Carmen Sienna. And now that high side is not looking so strong at all. They're both going to follow their way through. And it is a nightmare scenario for the Visa car.
Well, and so much for these individual battles. Now we've got 3rd through 5th that are separated by breaths of an air, and one mistake takes out 4 cars now. So we're approaching halfway. Where has the line evolved? And by the line, I mean, where are most of the drivers? Look at this, almost contact with the outside wall there by Mo Parry, it looks like. But look at this, 3 wide in turn number 3. They're taking 0 liberties of giving each other any sort of space, and they're going for it. Anyway, before I get interrupted so rudely again, Liv, where has the line evolved? Are cars now going to the top of the track, or are they sticking down on the inside?
I think it depends on your tire life. I think it's a lot easier to hold the inside on fresh tires, but now as they start to get worn, that's where the outside can start to become a little bit more valuable. But of course, the usual rule is that the outside line has more momentum And if you try and make a lunge on the inside, then you have to be ahead by the corner exit. Otherwise, the car up against the wall can just fly right back past. This is what we're seeing with Eisenman and Sienna dueling side by side. Sienna's often got a nose ahead out of the corner, but then Eisenman can have a nose ahead again. And now Eisenman has the move done. He's going to have to try and defend from Sienna, who is putting a lot of hassle on these cars. And crucially, they are now 2 seconds off the back of Ben McDonald. Hunter Peach has set sail. He's not fuel saving right now. I think he wants to try and catch up and get onto the back of the New Zealand driver, so he can continue his strategy from there. You don't want to let the leaders run too far away, because then they might be able to make that pit stop potentially.
So Christina Ryan leads this race. Ben McDonald. I almost said Colin McDonald. I'm going to get that wrong. I've already gotten it wrong so far. It's Colin McDonald. There it is. I already screwed it up.
Ben McDonald.
Colin McDonough, Ben McDonald. Don't... Whatever. They'll be fine. They might as well be related. For all we know, Colin McDonough is from New Zealand. All right? We don't know that he's not. They could be related.
Mo Perry really struggling. Holds on to it.
Here I am making fun of people, and there's actual action happening on the racetrack. Liv, show me what happened here as we approach halfway. Mo Perry almost binned it.
Yeah, here it is, coming through the tri-oval. And it's tapped to the wall.
Mosif Perry
and
with
I think
contact.
That's heavy tools. That is a very high weight jacket probably that made the car super unstable the moment the platform gets disrupted. Fortunate to be able to hold on to it, but once again, a similar sort of contact to what we saw for Carmen Sienna. I'm a little bit worried about the integrity of the floor on that number 54 car now.
Well, we're going to find out real quick if he keeps on advancing or if he starts sinking like a stone. Carmen Siena's outside the top 5 since she made that contact, so nothing too detrimental for the 96. But Mo Perry now needs to climb back inside the top 10, and it looks like he's already under siege. Victor Guillermo ahead, and Colin McDonough trying to make up the difference. So Guillermo started 21st. He's up 12 places from where he started. This is that slow progression towards the front that I'd like to see out of Vitor. I'd love to see this out of Nick Pressey as well. He's only gained 1 spot from where he started, and the championship leader is hoping for something better than 13th.
Yeah, only up 1 position for Pressey, but of course is better than anyone on fuel right now. You see Pressey just in the background of this fight. That's Colin McDonough at the tail end of this group. Try to keep an eye out to see if Perry does have that damage. I think he might have a little bit of a wound as well. Just behind this group, there is Nicholas Pressey, who's fallen off the pack and actually might be struggling to save some fuel right now. We'll see how that goes. Hunter Peach has turned up the wick. He's not just caught Ben McDonald, he has flown right by and seems to want to try and chase down Christina Ryan, who is running 3/10 a lap faster than. I think some of these leaders might have woken up, are trying to do some fuel saving now, and this is where Hunter Peach can start to make some moves.
Past the halfway point. Driver's last pitted when? Lap 39, lap 40 something? I want another round of pit stops. I'm sitting here watching these guys go around in circles. I'm dying for some action here, Liv. Hunter Peach is up 10 places from where he started. George Ward is up 10 places from where he started. Bren Roberts, Vitor Guillermo up 11 places from where they started. And at the front of this race, pretending she's Max Verstappen in an oval competition, Christina Ryan is leading everybody by 3 seconds.
But Christina Ryan pit first. She pit 8 laps before Hunter Peach did. It is Peach and Ward both up 10 that ran the longer stints at the front of the field. Those are going to be the cars to watch as Ben McDonald starts to fall behind. Evan Eisenman gets the move done now. And I think that's the lap car of Bryce Sosa behind, just staying out of trouble and hoping that someone wrecks at some point, quite frankly.
All right, so what do we got here? We're inside the final 55 laps of action. I think 2nd through 10th are starting to accordion once again, but for George Ward, who's 4 seconds away from Ben McDonald, so let's say 5th through 10th are starting to accordion again. And the pit stops kind of do a great job of breaking us up here, but with the driver, well, there's one driver getting really loose, it almost looks like. Who was that? Was that Colin McDonough making contact with the wall? This is what I'm talking about, Liv. The tires are wearing, the drivers are getting less confident in their race cars, and more contact eventually, in my mind, means one of these drivers is going to collide with this wall and throw out a caution.
It's definitely possible. And I think if you are, I mean, especially Bryce Sosa, but also if you are Christina Ryan here, you might be hoping for that, because you're in a rough spot. You would love the field to be compressed onto one strategy here by bringing everyone down pit lane. It'd cost you the 2.5 second lead, but if you have to make an extra pit stop, travel time in that first round was 36 seconds from cone to cone. That is almost 2 laps around here, with the time getting onto pit lane as well. And I think that's why she's starting to back off as much as she is. Lap time comparison, she's half a second down on what her fastest lap was. Hunter Peach is gaining about 1/10.5 every single time we go around here, and she should be in striking distance before Ryan gets to the pit lane potentially. Oh, and Sienna's rally crossing.
Is she trying to go over the grass and through the hills to get into pit lane? One car's loose out of turn number 4, Liv. One car, it's Lily Sharp. Lily Pelletier Sharp in that 71 has spun. She's regained control and now moving at a snail's pace down the front straight. No caution is out. And, well, never mind. I misspoke. So the yellow flag is out, and they went 3 wide, and Lily Sharp just lost control by herself. Check it out.
Yeah, here's the replay of the number 71. And gets into the wall actually on the back stretch. Maybe just a little bit of a push from Eisenman. And then is that going to be netcode? Maybe, but maybe just a wiggle on the outside of Jason Duckworth. She spins. She actually keeps it out on the track and is going to stay lead lap. And this is what we were talking about. This is going to bunch everyone up. And Carmen Sienna, who had just pulled into pit lane, is going to have to take a wave around here because she is stuck 1 lap down.
Still plenty of race to go. And as the anticipation mounts, I don't think she's too into the weeds yet. 50 laps to go now. We're going to complete 75 laps of action, and everybody, Olivia, is coming into the pits.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You are going to be on less than half a tank here. Some drivers could be close to running out even. Hunter Peach has to be frustrated about this one because it really has not worked out for him. He's, I mean, up into second place, but could have been in a huge advantage. Carmen Sienna will pick up that wave around, as we mentioned. Christina Ryan wins the race off pit road, and it looks like Evan Eisenman might have beaten Hunter Peach to the line. We'll see, maybe not, as we get going back to the front of the field. And yes, Eisenman, it looks like, is going to give up the position. They had us fooled for a second.
So everybody's going to come down, get their tires, get their fuel, whatever adjustments they're going to need before this restart. Christina Ryan, still your race leader. Hunter Peach, George Ward, second and third. Liv, can we talk to Christina Ryan? Is it possible to bother her right now?
I'm going to have a quick look. She's not in a call right now, so no, we cannot.
Oh, of course not. That's all right.
She's fully focused. She wants this race.
No, she wants to go to work. All right, we won't bother anybody here then. We'll live and let live. Wanted to get a perspective of what the race has done so far. We're past halfway. There's still more rubber, more grip to go into the racetrack. However, it's still a one-stop race to the end. Let's say that we do a restart here on lap, 77?
48 to go.
They can't make it
from here.
No,
so it'll be a question of when you pit. Of course, the early stop, we saw how powerful the undercut was for Christina Ryan in the first round of pit stops. But then look what's happening right now with Carmen Sienna. If you come down pit lane and then the caution comes out, you just gave yourself a one-way ticket to the tail end of the field. And if you are one of the leaders here, then that's a risk you do not want to take.
So we're about to go green. It's going to be an agonizing pace lap at what feels like, well, never mind. We're not going. Oh, that's Sienna?
That's Carmen.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Carmen Sienna.
How has that happened?
She had time, Liv. She rushed the situation. She had time, and she binned the race car. The pace car was only in turn number 3. She slowed down. She put the brakes on too hard, and I don't know if she made contact. If she did, it's minimal, but well, the caution gets waved off, and it looks like drivers are
just about.
Oh, by the skin of her teeth.
Yeah, for sure. She's
right.
Not come
Okay.
Down for a change, so it'll be 47 laps to go. Still no way you make this from here.
Still a one-stop race to the end. Yeah, no one's going to make it. Okay.
It brings in a splash and dash into the equation. Maybe some drivers, if they're in a bad spot,
but when?
Try and save some time and don't take the tires in their final stop. It'd save maybe 3-4 seconds on pit lane.
But when? There's my question. When are they going to come in? Because surely you're not going to come in with 8 laps to go.
If you're going for the splash and dash, yes, you are. If that's the strategy, you extend as long as possible. If you're someone like Stina Ryan, maybe you split it in half. Maybe you try and pit just after lap 100. Take the risk to confirm the race win. Or especially if you're someone like Ben McDonnell. Restarting 5th, go for broke here. Pit early, go for that undercut. And hope that it stays green on the racetrack, as it has for a long time, to be fair. So that you can make the best of those fresh tyres and try and charge past the cars that are going long.
All right, let's try this again. It will be... I can't do the math, Liv. How many laps do we have left? 47. You're always on top of that. Thank you so much. 47 circuits remaining at iRacing's Kentucky Speedway. If you just tuned in, we've been having fun, and we'll hope you're having fun too. This is what, round 12? It's a 60-point gap from first to second. We have no idea who's going to win this race. Just hold on and make sure that you have all your teeth when you leave tonight. Green flag is going to come out. Chris Ryan will have control of the field with Hunter Peach to her outside, waiting for the signal from Barney in the tower. Green flag is out, and we are racing again at Kentucky. Chris Ryan with a great jump and a strong run, but now they're 3 wide out of 4, Liv.
Yeah, almost 4 wide, and there's going to be contact. That's Tucker Sawyer who had some of that, I believe. Managed to get away with it. Bren Roberts, Jesse Francisco, all bouncing off each other. And somehow, that doesn't bring out a caution. And now it's just a question of, do those cars all have all the pieces of bodywork still attached? Are they able to keep this one running? We had that calm streak. Everyone was taking it easy. But now it is clear there's no fuel save on the horizon. We are going to the finish. And as such, they are on top of each other. And this is where the dirty air is going to really start to play a factor even after these updates. Carmen Sienna charging through already back up into the 13th position. Wide once again, and it's Bren Roberts on the white line once again. This time George Ward with the pinch. Again George Ward with the contact. Vitor Guillaume on the outside. More wheel banging there, a little bit netcode assisted of course. And Vitor looking to try and charge his way through. And everyone sees the end of the tunnel. And I think things are not going to calm down from here.
Absolutely not. 40 plus laps to go, 2 and 3 wide. From here, drivers can make it to the end. So if another caution comes out, we know that they're probably going to stay out. And I'm willing to bet a penny or two that a caution just might come out. Christina Ryan sits ahead of Evan Eisenman by 0.3 of a second first, all the way down to 14th, separated by 3.25 seconds.
Yeah, and Hunter Peach falling back a little bit, again, had the fuel advantage. That is equalized now, and it seems like he has a long run car, but maybe can't quite get the moves done early. He's going to play the patient game instead, as we are side by side behind for 6th place. And it's once again Bren Roberts who is scrapping with everyone right now.
I'm interested to see where Bren ends up. I've seen Bren win a couple races. I know he can handle himself in an Indy car. Up 14 places from where he started in that 84 machine. I would love to see him wind up on the podium. Nick Pressey sits in the 15th position right now, and if he wants to maintain that 60-point lead, he's got to get a lot closer to Christina Ryan, who's currently leading this race. Liv, second in points, is only, what, 33 laps away? No, less. I can't math. How many laps do we have to go in this thing?
38 at the line.
38. And how many wins does she have this year? We know it's a 60-point gap, but I think
for Christina, this would be the second for her or for Tucker Sawyer. No, it'd be Sawyer's 5th. Sorry, it's Pressey who also has 1 win.
Has Tucker Sawyer won 5 races this season?
4, and they've all been
4
road courses.
Of course they have. So all this talk about what can Tucker Sawyer do, and he might just pull off the unthinkable here as we approach the final 35 laps of action. Chris Ryan still leads, and it's a one-stop race to the end.
Yeah, and think about other drivers who maybe are dominant on road courses typically, and then finally break through on the ovals when it matters most. This would be a statement for Tucker Sawyer. He currently runs in the 2nd position, but he has maybe one of the most experienced drivers at the front of this Champ Car field. Christina Ryan, whenever she turns up, ever since season 2, has been at the top of her game, and Tucker Sawyer has his work out for him.
So let's see what Tucker Sawyer can do. 35 circuits remain. Drivers last pitting on 75. Indicating that pit stops are probably going to be within these next 20 laps of action. Out of this 4th corner, it's Ryan, Sawyer, Eisenman running 1, 2, 3. Evan Eisenman, a rookie. Hunter Peach, Bren Roberts running 4th and 5th. Vitor Guillermo has just slowly but surely been making his way up this running order. Liv, is there any hope for car number 7?
I think so, and we know how strong those Lena racing machines are. And he's been playing a patient game, but now is going to be the time to start charging through. It's Bren and Vitor currently sandwiching Jesse Francisco, who's been running here for the entire race, started 7th. And this trio really making these moves at the end now. But it is all to play for at the front of the field. Eisman went low, but got the dirty air of Christina Ryan, and doesn't just lose back out to Tucker Sawyer, but Hunter Peach gets back through. And this might be the late charge that the Sitz was looking for as the tyres start to wear. He's played it patient the whole race. He's doing it again, but now it's time to strike.
Well, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. Evan Eisenman almost making contact with Hunter Peach. Man, they got close. 93 laps about to be completed as we approach the final 30 rounds around Kentucky. Eisenman is brave, really putting his car in that position. How about Jesse Francisco also doing the brave thing in the Blue Angels machine? I think now drivers have gotten comfortable with the single file order, Liv. It's not a waiting game, but I think drivers aren't yet as apprehensive.
Yeah, I think this is just that tire wear starting to play a factor. You just can't really hold that inside line as effectively. You need to build the momentum and choose your moment to strike rather than just throw in non-stop haymakers. It's those later rounds of a boxing match where you've got to be a lot more deliberate with what you do, at least until we come down pit lane, and then the action begins all over again.
Who's your favorite boxer?
I don't know much about boxing. I don't even know if that's true. I'm just hoping it is.
Oh, it sounds right. I don't know enough about boxing to tell you that you're wrong, but that sounds correct to me, so we'll go with that.
I guess Ricky Hatton, local to where I live. Although I can't say I ever watched one of his fights.
Ricky Hatton watches your. Just watch. You're gonna get a DM from Ricky Hatton saying that he watches our races all the time, but you don't watch a single one of his fights, and he's gonna be severely disappointed.
Well, I've missed my chance now, so I think he's retired. Here comes Hunter
is it? Okay,
around the outside of Tucker Sawyer. He's gonna hold the outside line here. Christina Ryan gonna give Peach the slipstream against the wall. And this is great for her, because Tucker Sawyer, remember, is her championship contender here. Now Brent Roberts goes for the move on the inside, and Sawyer's getting freight trained through 3 and 4. And this is exactly what the 80 wants to see in the rearview mirror.
I was just saying there, I don't know that much about boxing, and I think I just showed it there. I probably know less about the draft and the aerodynamics of IndyCar, but certainly the toe helping out greatly. In these last few laps, though, where's going to be that comfortable strike distance? Because drivers are going to, like you say, they can't just keep throwing haymakers. They need to calculate this next move. If it's you're the driver, where is this move going to come?
I think at this point it's going to come on pit lane. I think if you are stuck behind someone and you're really getting frustrated, like maybe if Eisenman can't get this done on Tucker Sawyer, then you make that call. We have seen the start of the pit cycle. Colin McDonough has made one of the first moves down pit lane, and for those who are betting on Nicholas Pressey to be the first penalty on pit lane, it is number 39 instead, so no payouts for that one.
Well, at least it wasn't Nick Pressey. I didn't want him to get a penalty, but I assumed that it just might be him.
And it was on exit as well. Must have hit the limiter a little bit too early and got going just a little bit too hasty.
We've got 25 laps remaining at the Kentucky Speedway. Christina Ryan still comfortably leading this race, as comfortable as you can be with a 0.6 of a second gap to Hunter Peach. Bren Roberts in that 84, up 17 places from where he started. I really hope he can end up on the podium, because I want to hear how he managed this kind of a performance, Liv.
And Christina Ryan is in pit lane. I was about to say, I wouldn't be surprised if Chrissy stays out and responds to a stop from Peach or Roberts. It's not going to be, she's going to blink first at the front of this field. And now it's a question of how do these two manage with each other as they lap Carmen Sienna just there, who made the early stop. She's 2 down now. They're going to stay out, they're going to keep fighting. And you've got to imagine this can only help Christina Ryan if she's going to come out in clean air and can just run completely independently at the front of the field. How much longer does the sit and the 84 choose to extend this stint?
So they pitted around 75, so we know that they can't make it past 115, but certainly you want to put some life in the tire. You want to have some sort of, not freshness to the race car, if you will. So when is your ideal pit lap then?
I think you have to be watching the Delta to see how fast Christina Ryan is lapping. She's now up to speed. This is her outlap just finishing up now, and she is 2 seconds ahead of Ben McDonnell, who is the next car who made a pit stop. So she's got breathing room once again in this one. And I think, especially if you're going side by side through the corners, you've got to make the call. One of these cars has to pit, because they're running in the 25s, in the low 25s. I would not be surprised if we see a 24 out of Christina Ryan next time by. And especially now that Carmen Sienna, who remember is on those fresh tyres, doesn't want to be trapped 2 laps down forever. She wants to be 1 down for if that caution comes out. Hunter Peach will blink. Bren Roberts stays out another lap. And now it's a question of where does the number 6 cycle out in relation to Christina Ryan?
Well, time's certainly going to tell, and there's so many variables that come through. Who speeds, who doesn't, who gets the best attack, the entry, everything coming in and out of pit road. It's almost impossible to predict, but we're certainly going to do our very best. 106 laps into this 125 lap event. Looks like Vitor Guillermo had some trouble there where he goes off the racetrack, now trying to get back onto the racetrack. Kart number 7. Looks like he might have slid on the way into the pits, and that might just erase any chance he had at a podium finish. But of course, we just can't predict anything, so we're certainly going to find out. Brent Roberts still being scored as the leader. George Ward 4.5 seconds behind, looking at 11th through 16th, all separated by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, and these cars have all pit Christina Ryan is well ahead of this group, as well as the battle between Peach and Sharp a little bit, or between Peach and Sasset a little bit further ahead. But she needs these cars to calm down because she is still stuck 1 lap down. If a caution comes out, Bren Roberts, as well as George Ward, Matt Schlosser and co., they are going to be dealt into the lead of the race. And this is the advantage of staying out. Yes, you might lose out on the undercut, but that's only if we see a full set of green flag pit stops. And the way that these drivers are fighting for what I think would be around about 5th place net, they are increasing the chance of a caution by a long shot.
So we're approaching the final 15 laps of action now. Bren Roberts, well, all of the top 5, I was going to say, all of the top 5 have not come down pit road. Lily Sharp came down on lap 96, so she does have enough fuel to make it, but her tires will be shredded to the very end. And it looks like, Liv, they're going to stretch this fuel, the leaders will, until the very end of the stint. Vitor Guillermo just went purple, 24.66.
Yeah, is in the slipstream, just pitted, but has work to do. See him just getting around Ben McDonald, or trying to, is going to get that move done. But Lily Sharp is under so much pressure from Eisenman Duckworth. And this could be where the caution comes out, and this is why those leaders do not want to pit. They could get the lifeline they're looking for with how aggressive this racing is. We're in the final 15 laps. All bets are off. But Bren Roberts has a 5-second lead right now, and isn't lapping that much slower than Christina. It's only about a 10th a lap.
So then when push comes to shove, who's going to have the advantage? Because we've seen Christina Ryan has just been lightning quick out of the pits.
I mean, if we stay green, I think Chrissy has this ultimately. She's got 2 seconds on Hunter Peach. The question is going to be, where does Bren cycle out? Does he fall into this group that's going to be very difficult to cut through? And there's going to be contact. There is going to be the caution. And that's Eisenman getting into the back of Lily Sharp. And Evan Eisenman comes to rest, wheels down. But with 12 laps to go, we have a caution. And that is a lifeline for Bren Roberts. He is going to take the race lead out of this pit cycle. Christina Ryan is trapped a lap down here.
Well, this is as a neutral, it's what I hoped for, and as a neutral fan, I'm sure that they saw that as well. But this changes absolutely everything. And Evan Eisenman, who was doing so well, contact with Lily Pelletier Sharp. That's not the first time Pelletier Sharp's been involved in an incident tonight. And then it looks like who else was that got caught in that one, Liv?
Jason Duckworth behind, who ended up sending Eisenman for a field goal. It seemed like both those cars absolutely destroyed. And this is going to make a very tricky end of the race here. Roberts is in. George Ward is in. I mean, all of the cars in the lead lap, of course, are going to pit here. Christina Ryan will get given the lucky dog. It won't matter that much because she can get the fresh set of tyres. But then, of course, the rest of the field will have to take the wave round, and Light will back out behind her. So she'll restart in 6th place. But it'll be Bren Roberts, who is currently winning the race off pit lane, ahead of Matt Schlosser. And let's just have a look at where these top 5 started. 20th, 17th, 14th, 9th, and 16th. They took a gamble. They bet on chaos, and chaos came through for them. They are in a prime position when we restart with less than 10 laps to go.
Nick Pressey handed a lifeline as well. His 60-point lead coming into this race looked decimated if the race were to go green. Nick Pressey now sits in 3rd. Christina Ryan sits in 6th. And Liv, we ain't done with the chaos. This is going to be a thrilling final 8 laps of this race.
Yeah, I'm going to make a prediction here. I do not think this will be the last caution. We are going to have such a sprint to the finish. We're going to have cars like Ryan, Peach, Sasset, drivers that were running so well that have been denied what they feel is a spot on the podium that they've earned, and then have to try and take it back with force. And especially Nicholas Pressey, he knows it's a championship fight. He's not going to want to let Christina by. If Tata Sawyer comes through, no, he doesn't. This is going to be very interesting. But there go all of the wave buys. Peach, Sassett, Francisco, Tata Sawyer. Carmen Sienna is going to get a wave buy, but stay one lap down, unfortunately. She'll need one more caution to get to the lead lap. And they stack up double file, but only just double file, because further back from this, the field is going to string up single file behind. And let's see. Does Carmen Sienna manage to come to the back of the field without causing an incident? Yes, but the cars behind are looking to come in very hot. As we come through turn number 3. Donald will be the last car. I think that'll give us enough time to get formed up that we can use all 9 of these laps. The lights are out on the pace car. We are going to go racing at the end of this lap. It is going to be 13.5 miles to decide the winner of the Bluegrass 300. Bren Roberts on the inside, Matt Schlosser alongside your previous leaders in the single file train behind. We roll into the restart zone for what could be the final time tonight, and Bren Roberts will get us back underway here at Kentucky.
Fantastic jump by Bren Roberts. Matt Schlosser now slides into that second position, 2 wide between Pressey and Perry, running 3rd and 4th. Roberts gets the lead, but now here comes Schlosser down the back straight. Liv, they're headed into 3.
Yeah, and here from Nicholas Pressey, tries to go middle. The gap gets shut off, has to back out of it. And now here we watch Christina Ryan is the only one directly behind these cars. Remember, she had the lucky dodge. She got formed up. The rest of the field stuck behind the lappers. But Christina's struggling to get around Mo Perry here. Gets to the outside. She's going to have some good slipstream here. She's going to maybe get to move up into 5th place, but she's running out of time already. There is the tyres. There is the advantage. But she got 4 more positions.
Down that front straight. Matt Schlosser now takes the lead over Bren Roberts. We've got 7 laps to go. Next time by, it goes Schlosser, Roberts, Ward. Pressey now sits in that 4th position, trying to come up under Big Pink. Roberts to the outside. Now he dives to the inside, and they drag race into 3 for the lead.
Yeah, and the inside could work out here, but Matt Schlosser, with a great run through the mid-corner, is going to hold on. We've seen such great results from the 04. He's not quite gotten into victory lane yet, despite what was a fantastic run at Sonoma. Could this be the one that the 04 has been looking for?
5 to go this time by. Schlosser, Roberts, Ward, your top 3. Roberts to the outside with Ward behind him and Pressey in tow. Chris Ryan, the championship hopeful, now runs behind Nick Pressey. Will they make contact out of 4 close? But no cigar, Liv. It is 5 laps to go.
And Hunter Pete gets the inside of Christina Ryan. She might be wounded. She might be ailing here. She falls down into the 6th position. Eli Sassett now looking for a piece of the action. But up front, there's door banging. Schlosser and Ward side by side. This gives Bren Roberts such breathing room. It'd be 4 to go at the line. This will be the point of no return.
Roberts, Schlosser, Ward, they're getting close behind them. 2 by 2 for 4th, 2 by 2 for 5th. Peach and Sasek running 5th and 6th. And there's a big switch right there. Big Pink George Ward in 3rd, while Schlosser gets a great run down the back straight. Liv, he's making the air work.
Yeah, and this is great. I think Chrissy does have damage. She's fallen all the way back to 7th place now. But at the front of the field, they're still side by side as we come across the line. Who will have the nose ahead? Maybe Matt Schlosser. I can't tell. 3 laps to go.
3 miles next time at the line. Bren Roberts, Matt Schlosser, George Ward, your top 3. Nick Pressey running in 4th and Hunter Peach in 5th. Hunter Peach trying to make his move on the outside of Nick Pressey with 2 to go this time by. Schlosser dominating the run on the outside. Bren Roberts has to prepare a defense. Huge wide run out of 4, Liv. It's 2 laps remaining.
But it's a shorter run to the line for Bren Roberts. Once again, Schlosser has the lead at the stripe, but it's so difficult when you are making that run to the line, and he has to set it up again because 1 and 2 seems to be low line preferred, and he doesn't have the chance to get down there. Once again, through 3 and 4, you see the grip, but maybe it's not quite enough this time. Roberts will lead at the white flag. This race is official.
One more lap to go. Bren Roberts and Matt Schlosser will continue to duel. Schlosser has had great runs out of 2 all night long. Roberts slides up and tries to put the defense on him, but Schlosser has the run into 3. Will he have the run out of 4? Fewer than half a lap remain. Round 12 on the line. Both of these drivers looking for their first win this season out of turn number 4. They will drag race to the line. They won't touch, they'll get close, and it's Matt Schlosser at the line. 1/100th of a second over Bren Roberts on officially Matt Schlosser wins round 12 by the tip of his nose.
And what a fantastic run for the rookie. Made such a statement in his early attempts. Hasn't quite been able to get it done, but now gets to enjoy the crowd here in Kentucky. Gets to burn it down. Christina Ryan didn't make it back. We'll see what happened to her in just a moment. But for now, it is the 0-4 burning it down in victory lane.
Hell of a finish. Hell of a last lap. Schlosser really made that work. I think Schlosser, with that hard run off of turn number 4 on the last lap, just had the speed by the time he got to the line. I don't think Bren Roberts did anything particularly wrong. I think Schlosser just had the best run, but that's what we were hoping for. And I think when we start each one of these races, Liv, that's what we really hope that they'll end up, how they'll end up finishing. Have another look at the last lap before we collect our podium. But that was insanity.
Yeah, this is Christina Ryan. Remember, second to the championship. She's out of fuel, I think. Or maybe loses something on the wheel, loses hardware connection. Goes up out of turn 4 and comes to a stop. I mean, that is feet from the line. She's credited with a 12th place finish at the end. Real shame for her. And that is a big advantage for Nicholas Pressey, who, despite everything, manages to be the lead car in that lead trio. And let's have one more look at that final lap, because that was incredible.
Oh, that was great. Let's have another look at that run out of turn number 4. We'll let the cars do the talking here, but I'm just so interested in just understanding how Matt Schlosser got the run, the speed out of the 4th corner. Have a look.
I think this is coming to the white here. You see, not quite having the momentum there. He's going to have to slot in. But maybe that gives him an advantage as we come into turn number 1 for the final time. Tucks in, gets fully into the draft. It gives him the momentum off the corner, and he gets to the outside. And then, of course, it is going to be that huge swing in that second groove. Carries so much momentum. Does a fantastic job of getting that one done. And it is so close. It is so close between the two of them. And there is
That's what 1/100th of
moment.
a second looks like. That's just cool, man. That's cool. We're going to catch our breaths. We're going to talk about this finish, and we're going to get our top 3 on the podium here, fans. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have Matt Schlosser, Bren Roberts, and Big Pink George Ward in just a moment. On the podium with our top 3, still talking about that awesome finish. Let's go to our race winner, one Matt Schlosser. Matt, when the white flag flew, nobody had any idea who was going to come away with the victory in this one, but that was sensational work. Take us through that last lap. Did you know that that turn 4 pass was going to work that way?
Yeah, so I didn't know what was going to happen either going into that last lap. I knew that I wanted to be on the outside in turns 3 and 4. I feel like I was able to hold Brand down a little bit if I had that outside line. He took the lead going into turn 1, and I realized if I could just slip behind him and get a little bit of a draft, I could pull to his outside. I talked to him in the waiting room. He said he thought about pulling up high, but I got there just like a millisecond before he could, it sounds like, and was able to get to his outside. And going through the last turn, I didn't know whose race it was. I knew it was going to be close at the line. I thought he might be able to get me if he went to the apron or something, but it obviously came down to a few inches or something. So shout out to him for an awesome race. That was so cool. Yeah, it was crazy.
For your first 3 finishes in the ABN Champ Car World Series, you have finished 8th, 2nd, and now 1st. Congratulations on that first victory, man. Well earned.
Thank you. Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Lady Luck for that, because the strategy I was on was kind of like staying out late to hope for that caution, and it did come out, and that's kind of what jumped me up into the top 3. So fortunate for that strategy, and just had to do some racing at the end and managed to pull it off.
Congratulations on that win. We'll be talking about this one for a while. Liv, you've got our 2nd place finisher, Bren Roberts.
I sure do. Bren, what is it with you and photo finishes in the Champ Car World Series? So close to your 2nd win in the competition. It was, in the end, just a few thousandth away, but talk us through what a fantastic battle that was at the end, and of course, the strategy gamble to get you into position to take it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I was on the good end of a photo finish. I guess it's time for me to pay it back right here. But yeah, I was kind of hoping off of 2. I noticed Matt, when he was running the high side, he would get a better run than me off 4. So in 1 and 2, I wanted to run the bottom, and I was hoping to slide up and take the high side in 3 and 4. Unfortunately, he had just a little bit too much of a run, and it just didn't really work out that way. But yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun. It was a blast.
So, and when you, in that final cycle, when you saw the leaders pit in early, were you committed to running the tank dry and hoping that some carnage further behind would give you exactly what it did?
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal situation, what played out was my dream scenario. I don't know if everybody's taking 4, if people were taking tires or just gas only. I was planning on just taking gas at my pit stop, just because my tires weren't really falling off that bad. So I was just like, well, I might as well just run it until it's empty anyway. So just played out perfect to get that great finish there.
Yeah, well, it was a fantastic show all the way to the checkered flag. Not your day this time, but still a finish to be proud of. Is there anything you want to say to the fans at home? Now is the time. Congratulations on a 2nd place finish at Kentucky.
Yeah, thanks to you all for broadcasting, and thanks to the series. I had a lot of fun tonight.
All right, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
With our bronze medalist, George Ward, your first podium, Big Pink. We're still thrilled with that finish.
Hello.
Did you have a good time at least?
Did I have a good time? Oh, Rick, let me tell you, I thought I was quick in practice, got extremely humbled in qualifying. The first stint, I was like, I was just gonna hang around, see what came of it, and then I cycled out to 8th, right behind my teammate Jesse. I gave him a quick hello. He gave me a "What's going on?" And I think at that point I realized, hold on, like I can make something of this. But that last stint, I really didn't have an intention of coming in early. Like the last thing I wanted to do was get caught a lap down, and then lo and behold, good majority of the field gets trapped a lap down. I got damaged somewhere that I can't remember, or figure out where the damage even was. Restarted 5th. I'm very proud of that first lap after that last restart. All my starts today were like bottom of the totem pole. But I figured out how to run the top around Mo, got a run out of 4 and went to the bottom around Nick, who, shout out to Nick, was on a controller, got a top 5 and extended his points lead over the rest of the field. So that was a freaking mega job on his part. And kind of just drove the last 5 laps from there. The front 2 had it on lock. I mean, one of those 2 had to win this race. We were talking in the waiting room of like none of the top 5 started in the top 10, which I found pretty impressive. But no, yes, Rick, I had a ton of fun. I almost had too much fun, dude.
Well, that's what we aim for. I'm glad you had a good time. Enjoy that break. Congratulations on your bronze medal. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. You as well.
Liv, we're almost ready to wind this one down. Let's go through our running order and recap this fantastic race.
Absolutely. From 17th on the grid, Matt Schlosser wins by thousands, mere thousands, over Brent Roberts. A fantastic photo finish between them. George Ward from 16th holds on for a podium with Hunter Peach, and championship leader Nicholas Pressey finding the fortune he needs to extend that gap even further with 8 rounds to go. Eli Sassett comes home in 6th place with Vitor Guillaume up 14 positions, not quite the biggest gainer, but still a great run to 7th place. And then Jesse Francisco, Tucker Sawyer, and Mo Perry rounding out your top 10. Ben McDonald running up front most of the race, ends up as the final car on the lead lap in 11th with Christina Ryan. Some sort of hardware issue on the final lap means she comes to a crawl and will be credited 1 lap down at the checker. Carmen Sienna also 1 down, finishing in 13th place with Colin McDonough another lap in arrears. And then Mitch Semedo, Evan Eisenman, Olivia Sharp, and Jason Duckworth, all 3 of those cars caught up in that final caution incident. Really unfortunate for them. And then, of course, Bryce Saucier, Emily Howe, both with connection issues. And then Edson Santos, Bailey Thompson caught up in the lap 2 crash, and Josh Stoltz. Practice only here. That is going to be your 23 car field for the Kentucky Bluegrass 300.
We get a break. We're going to be back in a couple of weeks at the Mid-Ohio course for 49 laps of fun, round 13 of 20 of the ABN Champ Car World Series. Will Nick Pressey keep that points lead? Will Christina Ryan inch any closer? Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z. It feels like that, doesn't it, Liv? It feels like the championship is coming down to that sort of fantastic sort of cliffhanger, if you will, where each round you have no idea what's going to happen. What I hope that we don't get is the same Dragon Ball Z trope where we get the same fight scene for the next 4 episodes. But I think in 2 weeks we're going to have a good time at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, and from what I'm hearing from the National Weather Service, could be a little bit sketchy out there. So a new challenge for these drivers potentially. We'll see how they handle that.
Well, you heard it here first. It might be raining in Mid-Ohio in a couple of weeks' time. You're going to have to tune in to find out. So until that next race, everybody please stay safe. Do take care of each other, and we will see you all around the corner.